Good afternoon. Welcome to Next Level Youth Training, Track and Field Sports Talk Show. I'm your host, Coach John. Coach Glass. Wait a minute, sir. Not yet. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Whoa. And my co-host is Coach Tony, aka the Mumble Rapper. What you gotta say, Coach?
Coach Tony. I'm Coach Tony. Jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's Coach Tony. Uh, Extremely excited to have this track and field platform so that the athletes in our community can have something that is truly their own, where it's not a platform that is pretty much 100% dedicated to either football or basketball. It's strictly track and field, Coach Tony. Strictly track and field. Okay, he's good with that. So this platform is really going to be about everything from technique, U.S. number 1 through number 10, facilities, equipment. We're going to run the gamut on the things that we're going to talk about. We're going to have a lot of exciting athletes that are doing great things locally in the community, as well as we'll sometime trying to get some in here nationally as well. We'll talk a little bit in this first segment about myself, my background, Coach Tony, his background. We'll tell you a little bit about our next level youth training facility that we have, where we train athletes anywhere from wrestlers to basketball, baseball, football, softball, ages 6 on up. So we'll get a little bit into that in this first segment. The second segment, we'll talk a little bit about technical aspects of running, different things that come into play if you're really trying to be an elite sprinter. It's a technical game at this point. Everybody's fast, but the elite, they're better at what they do technically. So we'll get into that some. We'll talk about sprinters technical boot camp that myself and Coach Tony is holding March 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Sports and Learning Complex here in PG County. So we'll get into some of that as well.
That's Prince George's County.
What'd I say? PG?
PG.
Okay.
We won't upset anybody.
Yeah, Prince George's County. So we'll get in that in the second segment. In the third segment, it's truly a pleasure to have these guys that are going to come in here. They've been doing some phenomenal things on the track circuit indoor. Currently, right now, U.S. number 1 in the 4x200 meter relay. So we have them in here today to do an interview. Excited to have these guys in here. I've known a couple of them for years. Truly workhorses on the track as well as in the classroom. So we're blessed today to have Bullis Boys 4x200 meter relay in the studio today. So they'll be in the third segment. Superstars, yes, what's called superstars.
You don't know them, you know of them.
Yeah, that's pretty much what they say. Mm-hmm. I've seen them at the track meets. I see how they act at the track meet. Yeah, they walk by and they're just like, that's Bullis.
Nah, they humble guys.
That's Bullis. No, they good. They're good. The guys are good. I'm talking about the audience around them.
For right now, they're good.
Yeah, for right now, yeah. Keep a lid on them. And that fourth segment is pretty much interactive. So we want to interact with the people that are out there that are watching us live on Facebook. You can send us questions. You can send us things you want us to ask the athletes. So it's the interactive section, but it's also a section where we want you to tune in and we want you to pretty much answer a question. And that question is either you're calling in to tell us that your school is on point, which means they doing what they supposed to do, you love what they doing, you supporting what they doing, or what's popping. You want to know what's going on with that school, that next time we see you at the track meet, what you going to do on the track. What's popping? So it's either it's on point or what's popping. That's going to be the fourth segment that we'll get into today. So I guess we can get in a little bit about, I'm still not seeing it on here. You seeing it? You buffering.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or not.
Yeah, you buffering.
We'll straighten out during the break.
I guess we can get a little bit about ourselves right now and give you some background on myself and Coach Tony. We're both from the area, both graduates of Crossland High School, both played on the football team together. Some would say I played and he watched. Both ran on the track team together. Some would say I ran and he participated.
I was the anchor.
Please don't believe that. Do your research,
The
people.
biggest anchor. I was the biggest anchor in Prince George's County history.
4x2?
4x2 and 4x1.
What year was that?
The year we ran.
We must have needed a lead or something, because I don't remember nothing like that. As far as I know, I was the anchor.
That dude from Fort Meade.
Love? Yeah, Love was
You
the
had to
truth.
give me
A nice cushion?
nice cushion.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just
That joker was
all
amazing.
talent. No technique, just all talent. No technique at all. Just
He need
talent.
any.
No, he ain't need none.
He run past us like we walking.
Yeah, I think he was, by that time, I think he was easily 10-3, 10-4.
Couldn't get in college.
Yeah, that's another story. Wasted talent. So yeah, that's went to high school together. Did some little college stint, I like to say, of track and field. Not too excited about my experience in track and field in college. It's difficult to be a sprinter when you weigh 225 pounds. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So
That's why I played football in college.
yeah, so got to college and the wheels fell off the wagon. So that didn't go too well for me. Coach Tony, again, he went down to, where you go, Virginia
Virginia State.
State, and you was a participant again, or what'd you do?
Well, freshman year, because I was all Met,
Oh yeah.
all county. Went down there, thought, special teams. Special teams. I ain't playing special teams. After third game, not getting in, coach said, "Who want to play special teams?" Like me? Like me? Please. I didn't get off the sideline. I wasn't used to the sideline.
Yeah. Well,
You realize when you get to college, I don't care what level you're on. You get to college, everybody's a superstar.
yeah.
Everybody's a superstar. So you start all over again.
Yeah. That is true. I just wish Ohio Valley Conference had different rules back then. I couldn't play football because of a full ride scholarship in track and field, which they saw as a minor sport. So if you had a full ride in a minor sport, you couldn't play a major sport unless you was willing to forego your scholarship. I might not have performed on the field, but I wasn't no dummy. I wasn't getting ready to give up no money.
You got that right.
So
but
that-
the education.
Yeah, so I got the education, and the football dream went to the side. Let's see, track and field came out of Glen Arden. This show is also a platform for a lot of our grassroots track teams. Glen Arden, I-5 Elite, Full Speed. What's that? DC. That DC. What's that nickname they got?
DC Speed,
DC Speed, Firebirds,
Marlboro.
you name it. So it's a platform for them as well. We'll have coaches on here. We'll have some of their athletes on the show as well to kind of bring some exposure to the things that they're doing in the community with the youth. We actually have two of them in here today that are doing great things with I-5 Elite. Hopefully at some point in the future we'll have them back in here to talk about some of the things that they have going on over there at that program.
I think I-5 is hosting this year AAU, I believe.
Aren't they?
Yeah, I-5 is hosting the AAU regionals, right? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it speaks for itself. The things that they're doing over there in the community with I-5 Elite, I definitely got to give them some support on what they're doing, as well as Upper Marlboro. Tracy's doing some great things over there with Upper Marlboro. Glen Arden, Coach Henry, Coach Field, they doing excellent things over there. That's pretty much where I lay my hat, where I came from. I give them all the talent for the praise for the talent that I had when it came to track and field. Wasn't for them, wouldn't have been no 10-1.
Yeah.
No.
I think all the organizations do a good job to be volunteer organizations.
Yeah.
It take a lot of time.
Yeah, and people got to remember that. A lot of parents got to remember that.
You know, some crazy parents,
yeah,
man.
you sitting in the stands and you hooping and hollering and you fussing and cussing, and the people out there on the track sweating in 98-degree weather. That's for free.
They think they paying for something.
Ain't nobody out there paying.
Because they pay a little registration fee, a little uniform. They think these parents out here and coaches out here work for them or something.
A $10 gate fee, that gives you the right to go ahead and get your fuss on at the track meet.
It don't matter if it's track, football, basketball. The hardest part about coaching is dealing with parents. I used to tell my parents in football, I don't like y'all. Straight up from first meeting, I don't like y'all. I don't like you.
I'm sure those are facts.
Yes.
I'm
I don't
sure
like
those are
you.
facts. Uh-huh.
I'm here for the kids. I just put it out there. You know why? Because I got that same speech before. And I was thinking to myself, that's a good speech.
Yeah.
You set the tone right away. Because it's crazy, man. The parents are crazy.
Well, I know I've heard that speech several times. I know coaches didn't like me. I know that. I was probably, for sure, the worst parent in Calvert County youth soccer history. I mean, the coaches think they got, the track coaches think they got their hands full now. Shout out to Coach Lee over there, Bullets. No. You talking about a parent that literally ran up and down the sidelines as his daughter was kicking the ball, coaching on the sideline, coaching.
Well,
And
see, when I started out at South Bowie, they didn't get a chance to hate me because from day one, I was on the field. Didn't realize it, you know. I'm trying to help my son catch up, right, at 5 years old. And he looked at me and said, Mr. Phillips, do you want to coach? I was like, oh, I was waiting for you to ask. And it ain't stopped since.
yeah,
But I'm glad it's over with now for football anyway.
that's pretty much
We're in lacrosse now. We're in the lacrosse.
That's pretty much the Glen Arden story. That's how it happened over there.
Yeah.
I think I gave Coach Brian over at Glen Arden so much grief that the next year Coach Henry said, you can come coach. You can come right on out here and coach, Glass. You know what this is about. Come on out here and coach. And like you said, from that day forward, I've been over there coaching at Glen Arden. So we know what it's about when these parents get out here. Next level youth training. Let's get into that a little bit.
Okay.
So next level youth training, how long has it been? It's been a while.
7 years?
7 years?
7 years?
So it's been 7 years. And this kind of really came together in an organic fashion. Coach Tony has been training his son Sage for a few years now in track and field, football, and just recently lacrosse. And I've been training my oldest daughter, Jean, since she was 6 years old.
Well, I'm the one that got you to get
Wait,
John to run track.
You what?
Yes.
You got me to
I
do
used
what?
to shame you. Why is she not running?
Well,
We were working out. We were working out with soccer and stuff. But I'm
Yeah.
like, why that child not running track?
because you know the story. You don't want to feel like you're pushing your kid into what you did,
Right.
what you came up doing, what your love and passion was. So I always knew it was in her blood, and that's eventually what she would wind up doing. But I wasn't pushing it because of how good she was in soccer. I mean, she was a phenomenal soccer player, so wasn't no need me rushing her to track and field because I know the wear and tear that does on your hamstrings.
Right.
So I wasn't trying to force her into that. So, just from training her since she was 6, and I always used to get, can you train my kid? Can you train my kid? Can you train my kid?
That's what we used to always get.
And I was never into training anybody's kid because I knew how hard I was on mine. So because I was so hard on Jean, I used to look at parents and say, you don't want no parts of this. You really don't want me training your kid. So for years, I ducked until one day, I got a call from a good friend of mine. He was like, look, I got this client, and he got a daughter. She's pretty good in tennis. He looking for a trainer. And even he knew I didn't want to train nobody's kid. But he said, look, just do this for me for a favor. And, I appreciate it. So I came up, met the guy. And it's funny because either I told you or you called me. I think you called me and you was like, look, I'm not going to mention what the machine is because we're not going to mention that. You can go to the website and find out exactly what it is. But Coach Tony called me up and he was like, look, I just got this X, Y, and Z machine. That's a pretty large investment. I don't know what to do with it. He said, well, I don't know what to do with it. I said, what you mean? He said, well, look, blah, blah. I said, well, actually, I just got somebody to call me and ask me to come train this kid.
Can we clarify that? When you
Which
say,
part?
I don't know what to do with it, meaning I don't know how to use it,
What
or
do you want me to
I
say?
want to use it in other ways.
Uh,
Maybe make it pay for itself or something like that.
I'm sure that was part of
Okay.
it. Yeah, but
All right.
you ain't know how to use it either. So
Oh, so you taught me.
no. We learn together
Okay.
as a team. We
right.
learn together. I
All
didn't
right.
teach you anything. We learn together as a team.
All right.
So Coach Tony said, look, why don't we just do this together. Why don't we just train it together? I said, I don't mind. We can do this training together. And from that day, it's been nonstop clients just walking through the door wanting us to train their kids as far as, again, any sport. We got wrestlers, All-Americans in track and field, lacrosse, volleyball players, soccer, tennis.
Yeah. And the way it normally works out is because we're not professionals in most of these disciplines, but because we are sport-specific athletic training, typically the way it shakes out is
Here we go.
John like to stick to the track and field kids, and I get stuck with learning tennis, soccer, volleyball, lacrosse. So I end up having to research and learn all these sports. John like, there you go, you got that. I got track and field. I'm like, okay, all right, but it's been good. We also invite, especially with the new disciplines, because again, we take the movements of that sport and we make those movements more explosive. And so a lot of times we invite the coach to come in and observe and give us some feedback on maybe some things we should be doing to make certain things more explosive, especially with the disciplines we're not as familiar with or we didn't play, although you don't have to play a sport to be familiar with it or to learn it. Let me put it that way, to learn it, because we've learned a lot. Just like I've learned hurdles. I've had to teach myself hurdles, although a hurdle coach recognizes things faster than I can because I didn't run hurdles and I didn't start learning hurdles until my son started running hurdles. So then I've had to become a student of learning hurdles, and I'm still a student. But I definitely understand it much better now.
I think one of the good things that you just touched on as far as, allowing coaches to come into our studio to observe our training methods and the training practices that we use with the athletes. By the way, our training performance center is at the Sports and Learning Complex in Prince George's County, so the Sports and Learning Complex. But one of the things we do is we make sure that, we got an open line of communication with all our coaches. So whenever we train in, whether it's club or it's high school, whenever a kid comes to us, one of the first things we tell the parents is, look, here's our card. Make sure you pass along this card to their coach, because we're not their coach. We're only their trainer. We're not their coach, because we want to make sure we have that.
And we're not trying to be their coach. We're not trying to steal an athlete, even though I don't have an athlete to steal or take them anywhere, which helps because, there's a lot of conspiracy. Well, I guess that stuff does happen. Let me put it that way. It does happen, but that's not what we're all about. But I'm sorry. Continue, John.
I forgot my train of thought. But I mean, pretty much we just make sure that we communicate with the coaches, because we want to make sure that we're developing that athlete on their platform, whatever they have in mind for them as far as the training program, whether it's on the football field, the basketball court, on the track. We want to cater what we're doing to make that athlete explosive, quicker, faster, and in accordance to what that coach is teaching, so that what we're doing in that development process is transferring over to the actual game.
Right. We're just trying to fill a gap. We're not trying to change the athlete's technique or form or anything like that, or even talk bad about the coach. It's filling the gap. We're assisting the coach to help the athlete be the best they can.
Okay. Yeah, and when coach says we trying to fill that gap, I mean, as a parent, you got to think. The longer you sitting in the bleachers and you complaining about your kid is not doing this or your kid is not doing that, or he or she too slow, they can't jump high, they're not strong enough, you got to realize your coach has maybe, depending on what team, 30, 60 kids, and some things with the resources that they have and the time that they have available, they just cannot get to. They just can't get to it. So when it comes to the core development of your athlete, the strength,